Assalamu alaikum. My name is Farmanullah, and today we are going to talk about the very important discussion that is all about the transition words. Now, what is transition words? When we are speaking, when we are writing, we are adding information, we are differentiating things with each other, and then we finally come to the conclusion. So, transition word of addition. Now, transition word of additions are very important, and it is based on focusing like the addition. It is also focusing on the differences, and it is also focusing on the conclusion. So we can say that we have transition word of addition when we are adding one information with another. So we are using the transition word of addition. If we are differentiating one information with another, we will be using transition word of difference. If we are finishing the topic, the end of the discussion, we will use the transition word of conclusion. So it is very simple, and it is like not that much difficult to learn. Now, let's move on to the discussion of transition word of addition. Now, transition word of addition, words or phrases that provide more information to a sentence or paragraph and help in connecting concepts are known as transition words of addition. We are adding information with one another. For example, moreover, I am talking about one of my friend whose name is Ali. Ali is a good boy. He is intelligent student. Also, he is very practical. He is strong and critical thinking. In addition to, he is a very good player of football. He plays very well and he has won a lot of medals. He is not only strong in exercise but also strong in taking decision in life. Besides, he is a very practical human being. So I have used the words, the transition words of addition you already see here, like more is the transition word, and then additionally, and then in addition. Apart from that, I use beside, and along with the beside I also use not only that. So these are the words which is very important for adding information with each other. So this is called transition word of addition. Now let's move on to its uses. Furthermore, she completed the project ahead of the schedule. He enjoys football. Moreover, he is a great swimmer. These are the very strong example of understanding a transition word of addition. The students sometimes confuse that how we can use the transition word of addition. So these are the practical examples. You can use it in your discussion. The company offers free shipping. Additionally, they provide a 10% of the discount. She speaks English fluently. In addition, she knows Spanish and French. The new policy is beneficial. Also, it saves costs. And he didn't attend the meeting. Besides, he didn't even inform us. I'm reading these sentences for the sake of understanding how we are using all those transition words of addition. Also, I am trying to read and speak those sentences with the correct pronunciation. So it will also help you in providing the information regarding the pronunciation. Now let's move on to the transition word of difference. What is meant by transition words of difference? Transition words or phrases that demonstrate contrast or contrasts between two ideas are known as transition words of differences. In writing, they aid in highlighting opposites and drawing analogies. So it's very important and beneficial for us to focus on the opposition and also highlighting the differences. If we are trying to make some differences, So we use the transition word of addition, differences. For example, I am explaining this idea to that idea, but these two ideas are different. This is different idea and this is different idea. So that's why we are using the transition word of addition. Let's move on to its practical example and then you will clear it. Now, the transition word of difference, on the other hand, in contrast, whereas, and conversely, unlike, instead. We are now using these words into the sentence use. Now, if you can see here, we have the transition word of differences, in these sentences. Let me go through. Yeah, very good. This, she is very hardworking. However, her brother is quite lazy. Now, the first option is expensive. On the other hand, the second one is affordable. Now, the first option here is all about the first option, and the transition phrase here, on the other hand, is used to make some differences with the other sentence. So this sentence is, the second one is affordable, but the first option is expensive. Now the transition word, the transition phrase, on the other hand, has marked differences. Now, he loves coffee. Now in this statement, he loves coffee, but she prefers the tea. Now the word whereas has changed everything, because this is the transition word of addition. Now let's move on to some another examples which can make your understanding on transition word of difference, very well. Now we can study, he usually wakes up early in the morning. Conversely, his friend sleeps until noon. So this is different statement and this is different statement, and it has been explained by conversely. So apart from that, we can focus on the other sentence. She studied hard. She studied hard is one concept, while the other concept is she failed the exam. Yet is the transition word of difference. Now let's move on to the final transition word. The final transition word is the transition word, words of conclusion. Now the transition words of conclusion, concluding transition words are words or phrases that indicate the conclusion of a debate, provide an overview of the concepts, or illustrate a final outcome. Now in the end, if we are trying to wind up our discussion, so we will use transition word of conclusion. They aid with the organization and clarity of the writing. So the clarity of the writing, and also aid with the organization. So this means that the conclusion is the final one. The words or phrases indicate the conclusion of debate, the conclusion which provide an overview of the concept, or the final outcome. So this is called conclusion words, transition words of conclusion. Let's we have some examples. The the transition word of conclusion is thus, therefore, as a result, at last, all in all, to sum up, in conclusion, to conclude, finally, and summary, in summary, or you can say in short also. Let's have the overview of the examples here. Now the transition word here we can use like this. In conclusion, regular exercise improves both physical and mental health. To sum up, the project was a success despite some challenges. To conclude, honesty is always the best policy. So here the word conclude has justified the final statement. All in all, it has a great experience and a memorable trip. And there are some other words. Finally, we reach the destination. Finally, the word finally is conclusion. At last, in summary, as a result, thus, therefore. You can read all these statements and come up with a very strong discussion about the conclusion. So thank you very much for watching. Do subscribe my channel and like it, and then you can comment on it. Thank you very much all for watching.